Hey, what's up guys? I'm Theo Joe, and in this video I'm going to show you how you can more than double the performance of your current graphics card, meaning you get higher FPS on basically all games, as well as being able to increase the graphics quality as well. Now, it's important to note that this doesn't even involve overclocking, so if you've already done that, you can do this as well. So first, let me explain how this works, and then I'll show you exactly what you have to do, and then we can do a test afterwards to see how much it worked. You see, just like how CPUs can be overclocked to unlock their full potential, graphics cards often do not use the full resources they're capable of by default when they're shipped from the factory. The reason is that graphics cards manufacturers have to guarantee a certain level of performance for every single graphics card before it gets shipped to the consumer. But each graphics card is going to differ slightly from the manufacturing process and might not have the same capability of performance. So they lower the baseline of performance below what each graphics card usually can so that they're sure that every graphics card is capable of that certain guaranteed level. This means that almost all graphics cards have additional unused resources. They're just deactivated to match the lowest common denominator of performance. So in this video, I'm going to walk you through how you can unlock those extra GPU resources. And fortunately, this can be done right in Windows with no difficult overclocking required. In fact, if you happen to already have overclocked your GPU, you can still do this and unlock those extra resources so you'll get an even bigger boost in performance than you had before. In most cases, I've done this and had people try it. It seems like you can usually double the performance of your graphics card, which is pretty crazy considering it really is only going to take a couple of minutes. So now let's head over to the computer and I'll show you what you have to do. Okay, so here we are in Windows 10, but this should work for any version of Windows really. The first thing you need to do is go to the Start panel, then go to All Programs, and go down to Windows Administrative Tools, and find Performance Monitor. Don't mix that up with Resource Monitor's Performance Monitor, and you want to also run that as an administrator. And now we have the Performance Monitor. So what we need to do is create a data collector set. So this is going to go and collect all the extra resources that are available for the system, and we're going to create one ourselves, so it's going to be user defined, and we're going to use this to collect any extra resources that are available in your graphics card, and so it will improve the performance. So the first thing you need to do is go to user defined. We can right click new data collector set and then check create manually. We're going to do this advanced, but I'll walk you through it. Now you can call this really anything you want. Let's just call it graphics, so it's easy to remember. And then you want to check performance counter and system configuration information. You don't have to check this, it doesn't matter. And create data logs. Next, then this is gets a little bit complicated. First you want to add some performance counters. So what you want to do is add, and then find remote graphics. It's already right there. Remote FX graphics. And this is basically going to allow us to modify some of the properties of the GPU. And the ones you want to select are frame quality. So highlight that and click add. You also want to do graphics compression ratio. That's going to increase the visual performance of the graphics card by actually compressing it less so each frame looks better. And then of course output frames a second. This is going to increase the FPS in games overall. So then now that those three are selected, we can click OK. And then for the sample interval, what we want to do is basically set this as the same as your monitor refresh rate. So for me it's 144. And that's just going to set the sample interval for how often to check for this extra quality and change it. So if you have a 60 Hz monitor, 120 Hz monitor, you just put that in there. Click next, and we're not going to do anything with the registry, so you can click next to that. And then for root directory, just keep that the same, doesn't really matter. And then next we can click default, and don't change that. And now that we created this, we can do open properties for this data collector set and click finish, and now that's going to open this. Or alternatively, you could just right click on this and hit properties and open that way. So the first thing you need to do in here, we're going to change some of these properties, but it's not that difficult. The first thing we need to do is add some keywords, and this allows the operating system to know what we're actually wanting to do with the GPU and which one to increase. So if you just left it like this, nothing would happen. The first thing you want to do is click Add and then GPU. So Windows is going to know that we're modifying and unlocking a GPU as opposed to some other maybe integrated graphics or something like that. And then the next thing you want to add is the name of the graphics card. So for me, it's NVIDIA GTX 980. And then finally, we need to add the multiplier to see how much we want to actually increase the performance. So any value between 1 and 2 will work. So you could do 1.5, and that would multiply the graphics by 1.5 power. But we're going to do 2. That's the maximum. And if you go above 2, it wouldn't do anything anyway. But you could do 1.5, for example, but there's no reason to do anything less than 2. We want the maximum we can get. That's the hardware limit. Next, we want to go to you can click Apply, by the way. Next, you can go to the stop condition. So we want to check overall duration, which determines the cycle length for increasing the performance. And 1 second is pretty good, actually. If you have a really good computer, you can set it higher, maybe to 5. I'll put it on 3 for now, see how that goes, click Apply. And then that's pretty much it. That's all you have to do for this. And then we can click OK. Now what we need to do is click Graphics. So click it in this panel, and this is going to show the different data collectors. And what we want to do is click Data Collector 1, Performance Counter. Right click that and hit Properties. And this is going to bring up this window here. And again, you want to make sure the sample interval is what we entered before. It should stay default. And for this, you can keep it binary. Then for maximum samples, what we want to do is multiply the sample interval by 2. So in this case, it would be 288. And we do that because we're doubling. We use that multiplier from before. If you were doing 1.5, for example, you would do your interval times 1.5 and put that in here. But I'm just going to assume that you're putting it on 2. There's no reason not to. And this is just to ensure that there's enough data to work with when generating the samples to display. You want to have a buffer of about 2 at least. So this should be good enough. If you have a really slow computer, you might want to lower this, but you can probably do 2 and it'll be fine. And now we can click OK, and that's it. So now all you have to do is just restart the computer, and then it's going to auto load the configurations on startup. If you just try to do a game right now, it wouldn't do anything. But after you restart, there's nothing more to do. Okay, so now that we did all that, we obviously need to figure out if it worked and how well. So I'm going to do a before and after in a game, and we can compare the two. So let's go back to the computer real quick and do that test. Okay, so I've loaded up Counter-Strike Global Offensive, and as you can see, I've put all the settings on max as high as they go, so this will be pretty strenuous on the graphics card for a good test. So why don't we go and do a before and after. First I'm going to record without the upgrade, and then afterwards we'll see how much it improved. Hopefully it'll be a good increase. Okay, so without the upgrade, it looks like I'm hovering between 66 and 65 FPS, sometimes going up to even 67, but I have a 144 Hz monitor, so that's really not good enough, so I'd have to lower the settings unless we can somehow raise that FPS. If you had a 60 Hz monitor, that'd be fine, but hopefully we can get above 144 at least with the upgrade, so why don't we go and change that and do the upgrade, and then I'll come back and see what it looks like afterwards. Now I'm back in the game after doing the upgrade, and I can already see that the FPS is way higher, topping into the 160s, 170s even. Way better than before, which was at the 60s. I think this is probably closer to tripling, not even doubling. So now I should have no problem running CSGO on max settings, even with that higher FPS. So clearly this worked and got a great result out of it. So there you have it. We saw a huge increase in the FPS and performance even on the highest settings. And that was just one game. This is going to increase the performance of the GPU overall, so it's going to increase the performance of all games. So if you've been thinking about getting a new shiny graphics card, you may try this and find out you don't even need to. And if you do have a new graphics card, it's going to work even better. I hope this worked for you guys. I'd be interested to hear down in the comments section how it went. If you got a huge increase, maybe a more moderate increase, you can let us know down in the comments section below. Also, if you liked this video, found it helpful, be sure to give it a thumbs up so I know you liked it. If you want to continue watching, I've got some other tutorials on the right-hand side. You can just click those or look in the description for the same link like if you're on a phone. And if you want to subscribe, I make new videos Monday, Wednesday, Friday, so I think it should be worth it. I'm looking forward to hearing from you guys, so thanks for watching. I will see you next time. Have a good one.